But a wild night last night as the Knicks come back, beat the Celtics, and Boston misses 45 three-pointers, 45 out of 60. The Nuggets beat the Thunder, and Joker goes for 42 and 22. Let me go back to the Knicks because I thought they were in trouble, down 20, and Boston didn't change its philosophy. They weren't hitting shots, but they were still leading. And then you kept wondering, do they go inside? Do you maybe take a 2 at one point? Do you try to go to the free throw line? Just something that will break up the rhythm of missing all these three-pointers. Well, that didn't happen. But the Knicks come back from 20 down, and that rally is the biggest postseason comeback in franchise history. But Boston had to help. 63 pointers, that's the most ever in an NBA playoff game, and missing 45 of the 60, that's obviously the most in an NBA playoff game as well. But I was curious about the second half. 37 of the 49 shots Boston took in the second half and overtime, three-pointers. They went 10 for 37 on those shots. And at some point, I have to go against the analytics. Now, I know Boston, look, they had uncontested shots. They were missing threes. They're not going to miss these shots throughout this series. But at some point, I want to see some kind of alteration. I want an adjustment there. How about you go for a 2? How about you instruct your players to maybe run something inside and not just perimeter jumpers here? They are a really good three-point shooting team. But when you're not, then there has to be a point where you go, okay, maybe we should stop shooting threes. It's not our night. But they never got to that point. Now you're going to have game 2. Do I think Boston's philosophy is going to be the same? Absolutely. But can the Knicks play better? I think, if Boston hits 2 more threes, they win this game. I don't think the Knicks played a perfect game. I think they hung in there. Brunson had a chance to win it with a layup in regulation. OG Anunoby. They had the guys. These are the guys that they brought in. Bridges. They brought them in to beat Boston. This happens a lot of times in pro sports where you go, okay, we got to beat that team. How do we beat that team? We got to get players in that was their sole focus. We got to beat them. How do we match up with them? And last night, the Knicks did a really good job of staying in and having composure here. Because you're down 20 on the road, you're probably going, all right, we'll chalk this up. It's a loss. We'll come back. Even Denver. I thought a quick turnaround, it could either be really close or really ugly. And I was leaning towards OKC. They were a 9.5-point favorite. They were going to blow out the Nuggets. But then that young team sitting there, resting, waiting. Meanwhile, Denver, a quick turnaround, and they surprise OKC. And Joker, I know this is going to be a referendum on, see who should be the MVP. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is going to be the MVP. And he should be because of what he did during the regular season. But there's a pattern that has developed between these two teams. So the Nuggets come back from 14 down. The Thunder have blown double-digit leads 3 times against Denver this season. Stat of the day, brought to you by Panini America. So they lost those 3 games to Denver, and they blew double-digit leads to them. Denver's a good team, smart team, and you have guys who can make plays. Now, I didn't think Aaron Gordon was going to be the guy at the buzzer with a three-pointer, but Chet Holmgren missed a couple of free throws. He was late trying to close out Aaron Gordon. Gordon is actually, percentage-wise, a good three-point shooter. But you had Joker, who kept him in the game, putting up monster numbers there. And, keep in mind the Pacers already beat the Cavaliers. What are the odds that Golden State could complete the opening round sweep for road teams as they're a 7-point underdog against the Timberwolves? All right, Seton, what's the poll question today?
Got a couple of options here for you. We could start with, will the Knicks win another game in this series, yes or no?
Gentlemen, sweep. Okay.
Paulie sent over, which team will advance, Knicks, Nuggets, or neither?
Okay.
That's kind of fun.
All right.
Knicks, Nuggets, Neither.
Todd sent this to me. Who had a better night, Jalen Brunson or Aaron Gordon? Well, I would say Aaron Gordon hit the game-winning shot. I mean, the Knicks had a great night. Aaron Gordon's had a really good month. Yes, Todd?
But I find it fascinating how how you would decide what would be the, you have a moment that obviously wins the game. So you think that's the obvious one. But then in a huge game, in a huge series on the road to see what Jalen Brunson did, and he kept popping 3 after 3 and brings them back from 20 points. And at least an argument can be made that through the course of the game for each of those 2 games that would say Jalen Brunson.
All right. I would say Aaron Gordon hit the game-winning shot.
That's what makes it interesting.
All right. Thank you.
That is. It felt like Jalen Brunson had just won the game and then lost it almost immediately right after.
Yes.
It felt like that needed to go in because there's no way that the Knicks are going to be able to keep the Celtics back.
He's so good at creating space because he's not a big guy, but he takes on contact. He just is really good at knowing what he does well. And I think that there's a lot of guys who have talent. They just don't know what they really do well, and they try to do too much. I think Anthony Edwards sometimes colors outside the lines a little bit there, like he tries to do too much. And because he's got all of that God-given ability. But Brunson, I think he's just so good at knowing I do this really, really well. And I'm not trying to do other things here. But what other poll questions are we looking at first hour?
Yeah, I think we go which team will advance. We could also look to the West as well.
Okay.
Or maybe we could split it up East and West if you want to do that.
All right.
I think we'll focus on the NBA playoffs.
Okay. All right. By the way, here is Jalen Brunson on his team down 20.
We told each other just keep believing and just keep fighting, sticking together, and keep chipping away. Now, was it going to be a 20-point shot where you can just come back? We just had to keep chipping away possession by possession, and then just find a way to keep getting stops and making plays on offensive ones as well.
Okay. And also hoping the Celtics continue to miss three-pointers. I have, according to DraftKings, the updated NBA title odds. The Thunder are still the favorites, then the Celtics, followed by the Cavs, and then a distant fourth, the Timberwolves, and then even further down the list, the Nuggets and Warriors are tied at plus 1,800. Thunder are plus 175, Celtics plus 210, Cavs plus 500, Timberwolves plus 1,100. Okay. So phone calls are welcome. We'll get to those. Email address dp@danpatrick.com. Twitter handle at DP Show. Good morning if you're watching on Peacock, our streaming partner. Thanks for downloading the app and our radio affiliates around the country. Yes, Paulie?
I want to go back to what you said about the Celtics. They're missing all those threes. And should Joe Mazzulla say, all right, timeout, let's take it to the hole, reset a little bit. I wonder if analytics overrules him. Because I would think the analytics would say, let's keep shooting because we're due to make based off our history. They lead the league this season in three-point attempts, 48 per game, by far. They led the league in three-point makes. I wonder if analytics told them, don't stop, keep shooting, it will work itself out.
But at what point do you say it's not our night? Like there has to be a point of no return.
But I wonder if coaches are taught now to not fight analytics, not go with their gut, because analytics is a removal of gut. And I wonder if Joe Mazzulla says, nope, don't do it. Stick with it, stick with it, stick with it.
Well, I believe that you have to go with your gut sometimes. Like if you go by just the numbers, I mean, I see baseball, managers, they outmanage themselves. They outthink themselves. Instead of going with this, no, how's he throwing? Man, he's throwing great. No, he's throwing 61 pitches. He's got to come out. Well, he's throwing pretty well, Skip. No, he's got to come out. I just want to break up the rhythm. I got to get points. And if it's a free throw, 2 free throws, maybe it's just a mid-range jumper. I just have to get something to break this skid that we're on. That would be my approach. If I'm playing or if I'm coaching, let's just get something. Yes, Eaton.
But don't you kind of see that, like, all right, yeah, he's pitching and he's at 60 pitches, and you have this data in front of you that says as soon as he hits 61 pitches, he usually falls off a cliff.
I would.
God, don't you look at that and be like, all right, pull him out?
I watch Aaron Boone mismanage games all the time because it feels like he is just married to analytics. I now pronounce you manager and wife. And I have a problem with that. But look, I'm old school. I do accept analytics. I think that we're beholden to analytics, and we're like, we hold on for, because you can go to a press conference and you can say, well, the numbers were on our side there. The numbers showed that I should pull this pitcher or we should keep shooting threes. I understand that. It's a great excuse. I think there has to be a feel that you have with your team sometimes. And maybe that's just the old school in me. But I understand what you're saying. Yes. It says after 61 pitches, then all of a sudden the batting average goes up to 387.
7 times out of 10, it works out this way. You have to have a tremendous amount of belief in your gut and your intuition to say, yeah, but this is probably the 8th time or whatever, But
if I say to my catcher, that's all I care about. How's he throwing? Now, he might say, you know what? Time to take him out. Or, you know what? They're not even coming close. Now I can say to my pitcher, I'm going to leave you in for one. I'm going to let you get out of this jam. I'm going to leave you in for one more batter. That's just feel and trusting your players. That's the only thing that I would argue or push back on that. Joe Mazzulla knows we do this really well, okay? At what point are we not doing this well? We've had open looks, too. That's the crazy part. They're not going to shoot this poorly the rest of the series. But then I expect the Knicks to be a little better as well. Yeah, Paulie.
It seems like the NFL is still gut over analytics. We talk about 4th and 1s and stuff, and you hear coaches from the Bills, well, 4th and 1, you should do this, and they don't. It feels like NFL coaches do a little more gut than analytics in tight situations.
I don't know. I think the younger coaching staffs are going with analytics. That, hey, this is what you're supposed to do in this situation. And then you're like, really? Harbaugh talks about this, or LaFleur. These younger coaches are like, yeah, we can go for this. Yes, Marvin.
Yeah, going back to last night's game, if I'm a Celtics fan, I'm pulling my hair out because Jason Tatum had a one-on-one a couple times with Brunson or OG, and he could have gone straight to the rim, and he backed up maybe another 5 feet to take a step-back three-pointer. I'd have been pulling my hair out. Now, normally he makes it, but like you said, last night was not their night.
I don't want to make it easier for you to guard me. If you know I'm not going to the hoop and I'm going to be on the perimeter, now he has a height advantage, but still, I know you're going to stay on the perimeter. It's such a huge advantage, though, I think, for the defense that you're not going to go inside. And that was what was surprising. I just need to break up the rhythm here. Yeah, Paulie.
I wonder what an analytics coach would have said. Jaylen Brown missed his first 9 threes, 0 for 9. Then he hit 1. When he was 0 for 9, would analytics tell you to tell him to stop shooting threes and take it to the hole?
No, yes, I would say go in there and get fouled.
Now that's gut.
Yes.
Would analytics have said Jaylen Brown should keep shooting because based off his history, he's due to hit?
Paul, I've never lost a playoff game in my lifetime. Okay? I've never coached one, but I've never lost one.
Undefeated.
Yes. So I know what I'm talking about. Now, any time that I struggled shooting, I would always think, just get free throws. Like, just stop whatever is happening. And I think the ability to be able to slow it down and don't let the Knicks get momentum or get that feeling of, man, we're in this. Because you took away that feeling when they were down 20. You took away their hope. And then all of a sudden you allowed it to come back by missing all these shots. And then all of a sudden the Knicks are going, we can win this game. Like the Nuggets, I'm watching and I go, okay, they can't stop Joker. All right, they're doing okay here. Okay, all right, they're fouling. Okay, I don't know about that flaw. Okay, Gordon, ball game. That's sort of how it happened.